Okay, here we are with another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. Good morning, Peter.
Morning, Bill.
Screaming at everybody this morning. Well, podcast number 345 is today's issue 345. The name of the podcast is called Proven Ways to Get Money from Creative Real Estate in Today's Economy. And here is the description. It is amazing how many tout off you should turn houses into income. Yet you keep trying and often can't quit your regular stream of income because real estate doesn't provide you the reliable paycheck you need to depend on, which leaves you to believe having a steady income from real estate is a fantasy or for the supernatural. 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck and frown on how simple it could be to fire that boss and never really get started. Why is this? What could you do today to turn your income around and start building a nest egg using creative real estate strategies? In today's podcast, we're going to cut to the chase and give you the tools you need to fill your pockets, mattresses, bank accounts, even restaurant accounts. The mattresses are for you Italians, Peter.
Absolutely.
So you can buy your life back. So you can buy your life back and live on your terms without having to apologize or feel you have done nothing but good for this world. So let's do our. Go ahead. You want to say something?
I'm still stuck back at 76% of people living paycheck to paycheck. Frown on, thinking you can get out of it, and I can only think that they have to say that to themselves to justify the fact that they're not even trying. You can't. Oh my God! Don't frown on it. Try it.
Well, unfortunately, security blankets are a bad thing. Once you're used to getting that paycheck week after week, and your financial plan is used to that, it's kind of hard to change, right?
The man got the money.
So it's a whole nother podcast, which we probably have done already. I think we've done already a few of them, but we won't be talking about it today. It's all about habits.
Yep.
Right. But let's do today's house work. We record this podcast every Thursday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you would like to be part of the podcast and ask questions or put your comments in, we live stream it to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So wherever those platforms allow you to communicate, you can do so. You can type your questions in there. And we are directly hooked there. It's a straight wire between here and there, and I get your communication immediately right in front of me. As long as the podcast is as long as the question is pertaining to the podcast, we will answer the question. If not, then I'll defer you to one of our other platforms, which are one of them is WhatsApp Messenger. It's called Let's Talk Real Estate, so you can join us there. There's 100 and something people in there, I think, that are all creative real estate people. They think like we do. So if you want to do some masterminding or just stay connected with people that are in the business so you can keep a lifeline into the industry, that's a great place to go. If you have a direct question for me or it's a personal question you don't want to put in the group chat, you can go to flippinghousesforrookies.com. And on the top right-hand side, there's a button there that says support. And I answer those support questions. I used to do them several times a day. Now I do them 2 or 3 times a week, just because of schedule stuff. But I go in there very often and check them. Also, you should subscribe to us wherever you're listening to us or watch us. You should also like us or dislike us, depending on your feelings about us. And if you can leave us a review, that would be awesome. That's kind of our report card for spending 5 or 6 hours a week developing this podcast and making sure you can hear it weekly. We've done it for 345 weeks now, Peter. How long is that? I've never done that. So let's do that. I've never done the years. 345 divided by 12.
6 something. 6 years plus.
Well, it's 28 months.
Huh?
I'm doing something wrong.
Try again.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60 to 350, 52 and 2. Yeah, okay. About 7 years.
That's what I'm doing. I'm doing it by the months. So 345 divided by 52. Yeah, 6.5 years. So that's pretty cool. All right,
Yep.
good. So enough chit chat. Let's get down to business here, brother Pete. You ready?
Sure. Go for it.
So let's start off with why you should feel like a superhero when doing creative real estate deals. Why would that be? Why should you feel that way?
Well, it's a pot of gold.
Okay.
There's a rainbow. There's a leprechaun. There's a pot of gold at the other end. So getting there is really good.
Okay. So what Peter just did is the wrong answer.
Of course, I never know what you want me to say, so I say what I say, and it's not what you have in mind. So go ahead.
No. It's what's correct for you. But think about what you said, because you're talking about you being a superhero and how you benefit.
Yep.
So what if you figured out how those around you that are going to pay you benefit first? So when you go, it's a good point actually, because when you go into real estate thinking I need to make money,
oh hell yeah,
that neediness shows up in a deal and you don't get deals.
Yeah, so, or even if it's not needy, it's like what's in it for me. Even if you're trying to be pleasant, you got to think of the other guy first.
Right.
You know,
I mean, Superman is not Superman because he likes touting around in his suit. You know, Superman is Superman because he's trying to help population.
He's trying to save Lois.
And don't forget Lois Lane.
he's trying to save Lois.
Any guy that has any kind of real blood in him would want to save Lois. Yeah. So, anyways, so superhero means in our world, one, you help the seller sell a house that sometimes they normally couldn't sell, but in any event, you help them sell a house. Mm. Two, you help the buyer buy a house that normally couldn't buy a house because 81% of the population doesn't qualify for a bank loan, and you're going to sell them on a rent to own. So you're going to give them an opportunity they not normally, not easily, that's what I'm trying to say, not easily can find. Mm-hmm. So they're lucky to find you.
Well, they don't even know about it most of the time, right?
Right.
They're shocked when they find out. They're like, well, oh my God.
They know about it. They just don't know how to find them. So I'm a little bit stiff when I get somebody that comes in and wants to push me around, because I point blank say to them, dude, go find another opportunity like this, and when you do, bring it back to me because I want to talk to the guy that's selling the house.
Yeah,
because they can't do it, and I put them like in their place.
Yeah.
So you're going to help a seller sell a house. You're going to help a buyer buy herself, and then you're going to do what you said. You're going to help your family flourish and prosper because of this. Right.
Yep.
But and I didn't mean to make you wrong before, like saying, you know, saying you're wrong. But
I might not have heard the question correctly, but no, you're right, because the viewpoint is really important.
Yes.
That you're helping a buyer, you're helping a seller, and you know, vice versa sequence, and that's how you help yourself. You never help yourself unless you help someone else. You know, how do you make money? Not cutting someone's hair, not giving a music lesson, not saving somebody from a fiery building. You always do that, and then you get paid.
Right. So
good.
Yeah, so I forgot the saying. You help enough people, and I forgot what that was.
You help enough people get what they want to get, and then you get what you want to get. Something like that.
Yeah.
Zig Ziglar. That was a good one.
Zig Ziglar. Yeah. So, anyways, the point is that what most don't realize, and being off script here a little bit, what most don't realize is that if you truly help your seller and you truly help your buyer, it is almost impossible not to make money.
Yeah.
Almost impossible. Mm-hmm. Because you're going to be transparent about everything, right?
Yep.
So as of this podcast, Okay, up to the point of this podcast, because once we record this podcast, I'm not sure what happens after that, right? But up to the date of this podcast, sellers only have and buyers only have two ways to buy or sell a house.
That's right.
One is with a realtor system or with the realtor system, and two is for sale by owner.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only two ways that houses get sold. I mean, for
that's what it says on Zillow.
For 100 years now, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Which
that's what they tell us.
Which isn't correct. I mean, if you hear my story about 1949, the Realtor Association became incorporated as a Realtor Association and the National Realtor Association because they had an ethics problem because realtors were considered charlatans or scam artists.
Yeah.
And they had to come up with something. So somebody wrote a code of ethics, and the National Association of Realtors was to enforce that code of ethics. And obviously they've done a good job because now it's 75 years later and they're the only game in town.
Yeah, if they started today in today's media frenzy, they would be the biggest scam. Like, go away. They wouldn't even get started today. It's brutal.
And both of these have big, dark, deep, scary holes in their systems, right? The realtor system and the for sale by owner system, right? Mostly the seller needs to be guided through the sale to get the result, because not often people sell houses, one or two a lifetime. Most people, maybe 4 or 5 in a lifetime. Yeah. And I could tell you in my coaching group, I will tell you anywhere, any place, face to face, if you haven't done at least 10 deals, bought, rehabbed and sold, or whatever you're doing with them, bought and sold them, you're not even sure how it went. You're just kind of like still learning and winging it. It's actually 50 deals. When you start doing 50 deals, 40 and 50 deals, you can start calling yourself a pro, because at that point you've seen not everything. You never see everything because it's constantly changing, but you've seen enough where you're comfortable to handle it when it comes your way. Right now, I'm not trying to say that to scare our rookies. I'm just saying that just put your head down and do deals. Right? I mean, so many people want to spend $30,000 on coaching, because they want somebody to hold their hand. Well, it's the same way as a realtor, as a seller. They want somebody to hold their hand. And the truth of the matter is, which is the most, I don't even know how to word it. I wanted to say the grossest thing in our system is that realtors are technically only trained to find a buyer. Right? And I know, because I went through their school. I went all the way up to the point where I was going to take the test, and I'm like, I changed my mind, because it's like, why do I want all these restrictions? Right. Now, remember what I told you, 1949, Realtors Association, National Realtor Association came up with a code of ethics, and they were enforcing it. The reason why, and the biggest reason why they had to do that, is because realtors would take the deposit money, and when it was time for them to close, didn't have it because they lived off that money, because they were sure it was a deal. Yeah. Right. And then the deal wouldn't happen. They'd have to return the money, and they didn't have it because they lived off of it. That's the biggest reason. There are others, but that's the biggest reason. So the Realtor Association was all about, the contract, the listing contract or the buying contract, right? And what you do with the money when you receive it, the deposit money, and how you execute it, right? Yeah. So technically what happens is a realtor finds a deal, and then they, used to be back in the 50s and back in the early days, the person that was the realtor, they knew the buyers, they knew the sellers, they were all over town, they knew everybody, they were a social butterfly, they were the one that, were in all the morning breakfast restaurants, and had all the parties and
cocktail parties.
Went to the funerals and went to the weddings, and they just knew everybody, you know what I mean?
Wow.
But what happened was I think in the mid 90s, the realtor system changed drastically because the computer, the internet came out, and they started putting these listings on the MLS, and now they could share with realtors all over the their district, their county, even other states later on, right? So
Sure.
technically, the realtor is there just to find the deal. They're not there to hold your hand, right? So what happens is we did a podcast a long time ago, back in the early days, like lower than 100 somewhere, and we talked about how to hire a realtor.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that you hire a realtor is ask them how many deals they did, because what happens is the realtors that are doing 15, 20, 25, 30 deals or more, right? Because that's what you should ask, is how many deals have you closed in the last 12 months?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's below, in my world, if it's below 20, they don't work with me, right? I mean, my guy does 30 or 40 a year, right? The reason why you're doing that is because those realtors have learned how to negotiate. They usually have a support team around them, 1 or 2 people around them that help them, right? I had one girl that did 70 deals a year, and she had 2 people, and they all had their different parts, right? And you knew that as a seller. You knew that if you wanted this, you called that person. If you wanted that, you called this person. If you needed that, you called her, right? So, so the reason why I'm dwelling on this is because those realtors that have done those many deals per year know the only way that they're going to get their checks is to hold the seller's hands. The interesting thing is when you get your realtor license, you're not taught that. Those skills are taught inside of the office. So if it's like, give me the name of a realtor, a big realtor.
Remax.
Yeah, Remax. So if you're in a Remax office, the owner, which is individually owned, the owner of the Remax office will train you how to hold hands and get the deals done. It's not part of their realtor license.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a misnomer, because people go to a realtor thinking that they're going to get this person that's going to consult with them and get the job done and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So which means to me, not all realtors are equal.
That's right.
And how do you test them to see if they're good before hiring them? How do you do that?
Well, there's a few things, but at least the first thing is if they haven't done many deals. I knew somebody like that. It was a friend of mine. Oh, she did. Every time I called her, I'm in New York this weekend. Oh, I went to Texas. She was a housewife. She didn't look good to have a business card, but I don't know if she ever did one.
Right.
It looked good on paper. I'm a realtor.
So my point is holes in the system. This is holes in the system. Right? So that's why I'm kind of bashing it a bit. I'm not bashing realtors. I'm bashing the realtor system.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Realtor. See, you notice how I say that? Realtor. It's not real. It's not realtor.
Realtor. REAL. Real. TOR. Tor.
Real.
Repeat after me. Real tor.
Yeah,
2 syllables.
Real
tor.
Not realtor.
That's one too many. And
right. So lastly, before I get to my secret formula on how to get money from creating real estate in today's economy, is once you start doing deals and talking to sellers one-on-one, you'll soon realize realtors don't just the realtors just bring cash to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's their trick, is they bring the cash to the table. Yeah. And cash is not always the solution to the seller's problem. Mm-hmm. Hard to believe, I know, because most everybody believes money is the solvent for every problem on the planet. Mm. Those are the people that don't have money.
Yeah.
They think if they had money, it would solve every problem. But I don't believe that personally, which is probably why I am who I am. In fact, we're going to talk about that in the next couple podcasts. We're going to talk about, I forgot what number it is. I don't know if it's the next one, 346 or 347. We're going to talk about the personality you need.
Oh.
To do what we do, right? Mm-hmm. But what I believe is that, and I have found, if you have good understanding or good communication, that's the solvent of all problems. So if you understand and you communicate it to the point where everybody knows how everybody feels and what's on their mind, right? Now, I'm not going to do this because I can go off on an hour tangent with this, but what happens is, what's the matter? Oh my God. So I know that what happens is that if you don't, sorry about that. I can't believe my wife just interrupted me. She wanted to know if I was on the phone with someone. I'm like,
Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about people
So-
that solve problems with money and cash.
So the point is that any problem is solved with good communication, because what we do is we think with mental image pictures, right? And words and symbols and all kinds of things are like, they relate to pictures,
Mm-hmm.
right? So your job is to see what your seller is looking at.
Mm-hmm.
What are their ideas? What are they facing? I mean, think about this. Why would someone put themselves through selling a house? Because selling a house, it's kind of like, an easier way to say it is like, you want to sell your car.
Yeah.
So you put it on Facebook Marketplace, or you want to sell a snowblower, or you want to sell a lawnmower, or you want to sell something for
Yep.
$20 bucks or $100 or $50. How annoying is that? Right?
Yep.
People don't show up. They ask stupid questions. They do all this annoying stuff, right?
Oh, well, I only brought $30.
Yeah. Right. So my point is multiply that by 100 and you have a house, or 1,000 and you have a house, right? Multiply it by 100 or 1,000. So why would somebody put themselves through that aggravation? Why would they want to deal with that? What is the reward or the payday at the end of that stint of getting aggravated and all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to ask yourself, why are they doing this? Right now, some sellers are cocky and they're like, well, if you give me $500,000 for my $300,000 house, yeah, I'll sell it. Those are joker and degraders, right? So
Sure.
So the point is that you always have to ask yourself, why?
Yep.
Right? All right. This brings me to the point of today's podcast. If you need cash in real estate, there's a formula.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go over that formula for the rest of the podcast.
Oh.
So the formula is simple. It's only, I think it's 5 or 6 steps. It's going to take us the rest of the podcast because of me explaining it. But there is a formula, and it is very, very simple. And when you look at it, you know what it is, Peter, because we've done it.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at it, the way I'm going to explain it to you today, I'm going to tell you before I even start, the reason why you don't have money is because, well, I'll get into that. But the reason why it's your viewpoint. It's how you're looking at things. So you need to change that. And the fact that you might discard what I'm about to tell you as being too simple.
Mm-hmm. Kind of proves your point if that happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So here we go. So the first thing you need to do, you need to outflow.
Mm-hmm.
You need to promote and produce offers.
Mm-hmm.
Podcast over. I wish.
Well, if enough comes in, no matter how bad you do, something would happen factually, but let's refine that a little bit, huh? You got the outflow going.
No one knows you buy and sell real estate until you tell them.
Mm.
How do you expect to attract attention or deals if you don't tell them?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you, I talk about mental image pictures, right? I'm going to give you a mental image picture, right?
Sure.
You're standing in the middle of your office and there's 10 other people there.
Mm.
In an office. We'll say like on the 8th floor of a building, you're in an office.
Mm-hmm.
And there's cubicles there. and there's 10 other people in that office. The lights go off and you get blindfolded along with the other 10 people. Anybody know you're there? Do the other 10 people know where you're at? More importantly, you're an entrepreneur and you're in your office, either at your house or wherever you have an office, and it's and without outflow, it's like standing in a dark room. Nobody sees you.
Yeah.
Unless you make a noise or unless you do something, nobody sees you. I'm going to tell you right now, very emphatically, in other words, with a lot of emotion, this is the number one reason the rookies that are listening to me right now do not do deals. They feel like they have to have before they can do. They have to have a solution. They have to know the deal structuring. They have to know this. They have to know that. They have to know this. They have to know that. And once they get to that point, well, then they'll outflow. No sense in outflowing if I don't know what to say to the seller. No sense in talking to anybody if I don't know how to buy a house. And I'm telling you, that is flip ass backwards. What you need to do is you need to get on the phone with a seller, and we're going to get to this in a minute, and you need to talk to them. Minimally, find out what it's like. So let me ask you, Peter, you want to buy a riding lawnmower.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do? What's the first thing you would do?
Well, in today's world, I would go online and just do some research to find out.
There you go. There you go. So here's the point that I want to make. So you want to buy a car. What do you do?
You try to buy it on Carvana so you don't have to go to the store and you get it delivered to you right in front of
your
house.
You do research, right?
Yeah.
You want to get a relationship with someone, like a girl or a boy, depending on which way you go, right? So what do? You do research. You meet somebody and you do research, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why aren't you doing this to your seller that's going to pay you tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars? Why aren't you researching the seller? They're going to pay you for the rest of your life.
You know, as you were leading up to this, something dawned on me. When people say I need to learn real estate and I need to learn all these things, that's a huge, huge generality of what the hell. You know, what do you want to learn about what? Well, you know, real estate, specifically what? Well, you know, all of it. You cannot. It's much easier to talk to one person and find out about that one person and then learn that.
Whoa.
That's the brakes on. That's what you've been saying for years.
Put the brakes on. Put the brakes on. Stop right there. Stop right there. I just got done telling you that the realtor is only trained on how to take a deposit.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know. Most of them are not trained on how to go through a full transaction. Until they get to 20 deals, 15, 20 deals, they start catching on. So why are you any different than the realtor?
Exactly.
What you need to do is you need to study your seller. You need to, and the way you do that is to talk to enough of them. I had a phone call last night from a guy from Oregon that's from another coaching group, and he got my cell phone, and he's begging me for 3 days to have a phone conversation with me. So I called him at 8:30 last night after I had my dinner. And for a half an hour, he's asking me, what do I do? I said, call people. Yeah, but what? Call people. I spent 36 minutes with one answer. One answer.
How many times did you say it?
I don't know, probably 50. Call a seller. Call sellers. What you need to do is you need to get a list of people to call and call them. Right? You need to outflow. You need to be known. Get out and communicate that you can help sellers and buyers to get what they want, which is a sold and a bought house. That's what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They want to, so it could be just as simple as calling a seller up and saying, I'm doing a survey.
Oh.
Right? You have questions about how much they want for you. I'm going to tell you right now, the script, and I told this to you, I told this to the guys in my coaching group on Monday night.
Oh.
I was jumping around with scripts for 10 years.
Yeah.
I have the script right now. It is the best script that we have ever done in 20 plus years. And it works. Hands down, bar none.
You know how I know that?
How?
Because you haven't changed it.
Yep. Yep.
Seriously?
It's done. It's done. It covers everything.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So outflow. What does outflow mean?
Well, something has to go from here to them.
Right.
So people, get something out that people can see, flow it out.
So I've said in the past, if you think that you're doing enough outflow, or you think that you're clever, and you think that you're well known, and you have an ego, and like everybody knows me, I beg you to walk out your front door of your office, of your house, or wherever you are, and take a left and take a right and walk until you find a person, and then say to them, "Hey, I got a house for sale. You know somebody around here that can buy it?" And listen to their answer.
Mm-hmm.
You will be surprised, because I'll guarantee you, unless you know that neighbor and you've talked to them before, they probably don't know you buy and sell houses.
Yeah.
All right. So outflow ties into promotion and marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you a couple ideas of promotion and marketing, because the name of this podcast is proven ways to get money from creative real estate in today's economy. And we're still only on the first step, which is outflow. You need to promote and produce offers to do anything in real estate. Listen to me. Watch my face turn red. You cannot buy a house unless you make an offer. You cannot marry a girl until you make a proposal. You have to make offers. The only way to make money in real estate is to make offers. No other. Now, did I say you have to buy those offers? Did I say you have to close on those deals? No. But if you learn how to make offers, and offers are very simple. Like, Peter, what are you asking for the house?
$251.
Okay, is that the best you can do?
Do I have to pay commissions?
No.
$241.
Okay, listen, for $241,000, the only way that I could do that is to make payments, monthly payments. Can we talk about that? I just made an offer.
Huh.
I just made an offer.
Yeah, $241.
So I got him down to $241, and I said the only way that I could pay that amount is if I can make monthly payments. And if he says no, I want all cash, then we go for a discount. And then we go through my whole script of how much the cost to sell and how much it costs to sell a house.
Right.
We get it down, and if worst case scenario, we get them on an option and get them all cash within 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
And still make money.
But I want to point out something, that Bill did not come up with the number.
Right.
You did it the right way of working with the seller's willingness and his reality and his own idea of what would be okay.
In a casual conversation.
Yeah.
It wasn't salesy.
No, so it was the seller's offer that you pulled out of him.
Right.
Which is better than what we do as a mistake of throwing numbers at people. Because if you throw numbers at people that they don't like, they're going to say no. So why don't you find the number that they like and see if we can make it work?
Right.
My 2 cents.
So the point that you're trying to make is just how we started this podcast off, is human beings deal with mental image pictures. So I'm trying to figure out, what mental image picture are you looking at consciously or unconsciously on what your lowest price would be?
Yep.
So technically, I mean, if you're me, which God bless you if you want to be me, because that's a mistake. Okay. So Peter, you want 241,000. Does that mean that you'll take 230 now? You see what I just did?
Yeah.
I made him another offer. That's 2 offers within 3 minutes.
All right, but you're still asking, not telling him, here's my number. You're asking him, would you do that? You're still doing it in a way.
Which is the magic of my 7 core strategies, because no matter what you say, one of my strategies will fit in.
Yeah.
Like if you say 241, I could probably do an option agreement with that. I may not sell it, but I can go test the market with it. But
Yeah.
think of this: if I did a 30-day option agreement with you at 241, right,
Mm-hmm.
and it's worth 250, which is too close, I wouldn't waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
But I could go do that. If you have no other deals, then what other way to do it? I mean, what a great way to get experience
Even if you
with
broke
no
even.
risk. No risk. No, here's my
Yeah.
point. You go to the market and you test the market, and the market says, "Oh no, we're not going to pay 241."
Yeah.
You come back to the seller and say, "The highest number I got was blah blah blah, and I got 5 people that gave me that offer."
Yep.
Right? That's what the realtor's going to do. How many times do realtors sign listing contracts and then come back three weeks later and say, "Well, we're not getting a lot of. We got to drop to 10 grand." The realtor does the same exact thing. So what are you worried about?
Yep.
Right. All right. So promoting. One, you could text lists like FSBOs for sale by owners,
Yeah.
expired listings and out of area owners, foreclosures, etc. You need a system to do that. Obviously, I created with my partners a system called Creative REI Reply. It does all that for you. We'll talk about that at the end. It does all that for you. But there are others out there that you can do that. That's if you have money and you want to do it. If you don't have money, then you could go to, which is number 2, you can go to social media. I suggest getting in the buy and sell groups on Facebook, right? And just go in there and just start, if you live in, Keokuk, Bumsville, you know what I mean? You can go into Facebook and put Keokuk's Bumsville, whatever I said, and put buy and sell group, and you'll find them.
Mm-hmm.
Tag sales, estate sales, buy and sell groups in Facebook, and you can put in there. You'll find deals. You can put in there. Anybody want to sell a house? I buy houses. Anybody want to sell a house?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you can also go into Facebook under Marketplace, and they have a section in there, sell houses, and they also have a section for rent. So you can go for rent, right? And you can go in there, and I think I talk about this later on, but you go in there and you type in, would you consider renting for a year or two and then selling to me? You type it once, copy and paste it 24 more times a day. That's outflowing. That's letting people know that you buy houses. You could also do like what we do, and we're going to do when you're going away for a couple of weeks. When we come back, we're going to start doing our yellow letters again. We do yellow letters, right? Yellow letters is a proven way to buy houses, right? You use the same list as number 1, like in for sale by owners, expired listings, out of area owners, foreclosures, those lists. You get those letters out to those people. The best way to do that is go to 2 places. I use Yellow Letter Lady. Just Google that, Yellow Letter Lady. She's actually Ron LeGrand's Yellow Letter girl. She does a great job. Or you can go to Go Big Yellow Letters. Go Big Yellow Letters, which is actually Prince Genie, and they can do them for you. The difference is Yellow Letter Lady will not mail them for you. Go Big Yellow Letters. What I do is I'll buy 500 of them and then ask them to time release them. I'll have them release 125 a week for me in the mail. Mm-hmm. So it's completely automated. Go Yellow Letter Lady. What we do is we'll order 500 of them. We'll get a box, and then each week we'll stamp 100 of them and send them out. 125 and send them out. Mm-hmm. Another thing that you and I are going to do when you come back, which we stopped doing because the economy was so crazy, but now it's starting to adjust. This is my favorite tactic of all the things that I do. It doesn't have a great response, as far as people calling you, which by the way, every single one of your marketing campaigns should have its own phone number so you can track it. Mm. Okay. I forgot the name of it. I should have looked it up. It's Pat Live owns it. I think it's Hosted Numbers. Mm-hmm. Let me look. Hang on one second.
So that way you have a specific campaign and a phone number for that campaign. So when somebody calls in on that number, it's because the letters you sent or the signs you put out or a testing system you're using. So you know where it's coming from. So you can maximize what's working,
Right.
fix what isn't, or not use it if it's really not working at all, no matter what you do. Optimize your.
So that's exactly what it's called.
Business.
It's called hosted numbers. It's $14 or $15 for the first phone number. The first phone number gets a mailbox. That's what you're paying for, is the mailbox. And then it's $5 a phone number after that, but they all point to the same mailbox. But you don't care, because then once you put the message in the mailbox, it's for all of them. The point is that every marketing campaign has its own phone number. It costs you $5.
Yeah.
So if you have two phone numbers, it costs you $20 a month. But the point is now you can go into hosted numbers and you can see how many responses you're getting from those, whatever you're putting out, business cards, yellow letters, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So here's my favorite strategy. $20 business cards. They fold in half. They look like a $20 bill. In fact, I was online looking for them for this podcast. I was doing some research because I can't remember the name of the company that I used to buy them from. I still can't remember the name of it, which I will one of these days. One of these mornings, I'll just wake up and remember the name of it. But here's what I found. I found a company called, it's called bestmoneycard.com. Bestmoneycard.com. And the other one was printfounders.com. Printfounders.com. I like printfounders.com because they actually have a $50 bill donation. So what happens is you fold the card folds and it looks like a $50 bill, and it looks like a real $50 bill or a $20 bill.
Yeah.
And then when you open it, it has your message on the inside. I absolutely, positively freaking love those. Just out of the blue, I'll be like, I'm in the office too much. I need to go out and just like get some space and move around. I'll go to either Walmart. Home Depot is the best. Home Depot or Lowe's, because those are people that are in.
Well, at least it's house something. It's house something. They own one. They want one. They got to fix one. Yeah, at least has something to do with houses.
Right. So they're in there, hopefully doing whatever. Exactly. So the point that I'm trying to make is it's there. You put some in an aisle, like you put some on top of a container, or you drop one on the floor and you go to the end of the aisle and you just watch people. It's freaking hysterical. It's awesome. It's awesome. But it's outflow and it's fun. So, I mean, I think the $50 postcard quantity, I put 5,000 in there and it was $109.
For how much? For what?
5,000.
Of the 5,000 of those?
5,000 cards was $109.
Oh, wow. That's not bad.
So, I mean, if you don't have $109 to do outflow, and even if you just did that, and you took your kids with you and you made it a game, you go to Walmart, I don't care where you go, you go to a restaurant, right?
Wouldn't that be funny to leave those for tips?
Right. So here's another thing, and I'm spending way too much time on this, right? Here's another thing. Put every time you mail a check, if you still mail checks to pay your bills, put one of those in the envelope, because somebody opens that envelope and processes it.
And pretty much everybody lives in a house.
And especially like, I mean, here we have our own electric companies, but like your water bill and your sewer bill and your tax bill, those are all local people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have a contractor, put it in. I mean, it's just fun. It's just fun, but it's outflow. Okay, so have I covered enough there? Am I being fair on this podcast? Because I'm telling you, proven ways to get money from creative real estate in today's economy. So I just gave you 4 or 5 different ways that you can like outflow. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Is my exchange in?
It's very good.
Maybe somebody's on Facebook or YouTube or one of those. If you are and you're listening to us, give me some response in the chat so I can make sure that I'm in exchange here. In the meantime, I'm going to keep going. So 2. So that's number 1, outflow. Now, here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. This is probably not good.
Okay.
Because once you start to get your outflow going, you're going to get inflow.
Oh, no. What if somebody calls?
Right. Now, I promise you, after buying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of houses and helping so many coaching clients and going through all the things that I've been through, which I think is more than the average bear, okay, because I just talk to a lot of people. I promise you this. There is two ways to do marketing. One way is you outflow, which, by the way, we defined a lead as a one-way communication. You have somebody you want to communicate to about buying the house. A prospect is a two-way communication. You're talking to them about their ideas. They're talking to you about your ideas.
Yep.
You're swapping ideas, mental image pictures. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my point. Texting is a cool thing, but you're reaching them.
Yeah.
We have always been much more successful when you put out marketing like the business cards and the yellow letters and signs. I didn't talk about road signs because I'm not sure about those these days. But if you put out your marketing in the right place, in the right neighborhood, like, by the way, all these things you should be doing in your farm market. And each farm market should have 3 or 4 marketing pieces so that they see you and they think you're everywhere. So they think you're the big fish in the small pond, right? So when you're doing this and people call you off of your marketing and it's an inbound call, those calls are much, much easier to convert.
Oh, yeah.
Than just like if you're texting, you're trying to convince you, you're like interrupting their life. You're interrupting their life. When they call you, they're interrupting your life. There's a difference. Okay, so just realize that. So you want people to call you.
It's like, are you chasing them or are they chasing you? I'd rather have somebody call me any day.
So once you get your outflow going, you have to make changes on how you do things.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of common sense, right? If you don't do this, which many, 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 many do, and if you think I'm full of crap right now, I beg you, I promise you, I'm on my knees with my hands clapped. I beg you to the next time you see one of those houses for sale signs, to call the phone number and see how you go into a blank abyss. Nobody answers the phone and nobody calls you back.
Oh, even the ones for sale, right?
No. I'm talking about I buy houses.
Mm-hmm.
I buy houses signs.
Yeah. Oh, call them?
Call them, and you'll find out. Here's another one, which, by the way, we got a heart on that one. So here we go. I had a coaching client that had a severe reality adjustment. Phil. Reason why is because he does what I tell him to do, and he has a house that he's trying to sell right now, and he keeps talking about how people like us are contacting him. And now he fully understands why he gets treated the way he does, because he didn't realize that there's so many jerks out there that don't do things right.
Yeah.
Right. Which, by the way, I'll be with somebody on the phone and they'll say to me, well, I get 50 phone calls like you every single day. And I'm like, okay, how many offers did you get? And they go blank. They can't answer you. Mm-hmm. Because everybody wants to do a via, like, not go straight on, but put it on some like other line, right?
Yeah.
And indirect. Indirect. And they're using VAs and assistants and think that they're actually doing the business, and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what happens in your life, right? The number one thing you need to change is making offers. And this is where most people fall down, because a lot of people will muster up the energy or the money or the resources to do the outflow, but they won't answer the damn phone. Or if they answer the phone, they don't know what to say. Or most important, they don't make an offer. No matter what happens in your life, you cannot buy a house without the proposed offer. Not going to happen. So if you're not buying houses, the reason why, the only reason why reason why you don't have money from buying real estate is you're not making offers or enough offers. Or, as we have talked about in other podcasts, if you are making offers, they're unbalanced.
Mm.
Those are the only reasons why. There are no other reasons why you are not making money. None. Absolutely none. None. No money equals no offers or very bad offers.
Yep.
No other. So if you're making offers, and when I mean making offers, I'm talking about 2, 3, 5 offers a week. If you're not doing that, if you're making 3, 4, 5, 10 offers a week, and you're not buying a house within a month, there's something wrong with the way you're making your offers.
Oh yeah.
The point is that most people do not answer their phone, do not have a conversation, do not make proposals to their seller of what they can do. End of story. You have no money, no money. You are broke. Can't quit your job. Can't get rid of your income. Can't change your life because you're not making offers. End of story. No other reason. Stop bullshitting yourself. Stop. I'm like wound up.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
It's mental masturbation.
Oh,
mental masturbation. You're playing with yourself in your own mind, okay?
Oh,
if you think it's anything else, it isn't. Which brings me to number 3, right? The most important part of the formula, you need to tighten your belt. You need to
tighten your belt.
Tighten your belt.
What part is that? I'm not familiar with this. Tell me.
You need to budget your time and your resources to handle the economy and the incoming traffic.
Huh.
You need to tighten your belt.
Mm-hmm.
You need to change your current operating basis, because what you are doing right now is getting you no money or not enough money. Whatever you're doing, whatever your habits are, whatever your routine is, whatever it is you're doing isn't working. Hello, wake up.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Do it again. That's the definition of insanity, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that pretty soon, actually.
Oh, no.
Right? If you don't economize your time and resources to handle this new incoming traffic that want offers from you, these people want offers from you. They're contacting you because they want an offer. Nobody wants you to buy their house. Nobody, no seller wants you to buy their house.
Not at first, no.
They want an offer.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a house for $200,000, your offer's $100,000, they don't want you to buy it. But if you got an offer, if you got a house, they have a house for $200,000, you want to give them $200,000, they're going to listen.
Mm.
They want an offer first. They want to check your reality and make sure that you're not lowballing them.
Yeah.
Most people think in negotiating is one person loses, one person wins.
Yeah.
And that's bad. That's 1970s, 1980s used car salesman think, which is the salesman is selling you the car that he gets the most bonus on, and he doesn't care about what's going to happen to you after he gets his commission.
Mm-hmm.
And those days are gone. Those days are not, at least most of it's gone. Those days don't happen anymore. You cannot operate that way, right? So if you don't have money or need more money or are trying to get more money and it's not working, you're not making offers. And the reason why you're not making offers is because you're not changing your operating basis on how to make an offer, on where to make an offer. If your routine is, like, well, that's somebody else's job, or I'm not ready to do that. I need to train more, or whatever it is. You have some excuse. The excuse is incorrect. You have the wrong reason why. Because when you have the right reason why, it changes.
Mm-hmm.
And most people sink right at this step. Number 4, now we're at the meat and potatoes of making money now. You need to start producing closed deals from your offers made. You need to act on these potential deals. See, our proposal just tested the seller's motivation, our seller's likes, our seller's ideas of solutions, etc.
Mm-hmm.
and we're matchmaking. We're trying to see if we can help them. And when I say we, by the way, we are going to buy a property, that is incorrect. We are not buying the property. We're just sustaining the deal so we can offer to our buyer. Our buyer is buying the property. So you negotiate with the seller and your profits come from the buyer. So the buyer's popularity means everything. So the buyer is going to buy the house, not you.
Yep.
So at this point, you should have a simple memorandum signed once you get this agreement, these agreements we're talking about, from your proposal. So you propose, we could do this. How about if we do that? How about if we do this? And yeah. You get the seller to sign a simple memorandum, which my memorandum is non-legal. It's non-evasive, right? It's just to get them to sign something so that so that there is some indication that they're for real, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now that you have that, that agreement that talks about what price you settled on, what monthly payments you settled on, and what duration of the deal you settled on, and a down payment if they talk about it, which we've had plenty of podcasts about that. Now you need to go into the deal meeting mode. And in the deal meeting mode, you qualify the property to see if the property is popular with your buyers. Mm-hmm. See, most people do it backwards, as we've spoken about in many podcasts. They're qualifying the house first to see if they should buy it. Mm-hmm. But here's the problem: is houses don't come to the closings to sign the documents. People do. So your seller needs to qualify as being motivated. Once you find a motivated seller, you then go look at the house to make sure the house qualifies. If the house doesn't qualify, you have a memorandum that's a non-legal disclosure. You either go back and cancel the deal, or you retrade the deal. You renegotiate by saying, well, you didn't tell me that it had an airplane crashed into the roof and there's no roof. Mm-hmm. You didn't tell me that part, or you didn't tell me that, that there's a sewer plant right next door. These are all things you can go back and talk about. Right. So here's the important part. We're way behind time here. So if you feel a little shaky about the deal, just do an option agreement for 30 days or 60 days so you can test the deal with your potential buyers. This is exactly what a realtor does, right? The realtor wants to get a 6-month contract so they can go find their buyer. Mm-hmm. And if it's not popular enough, they come back and say, you need to drop the price by 10 grand. And if it's still not popular enough, you need to drop the price by 10 grand. Yep. Or you need to fix the kitchen, or you need to remodel that, or you need to do this. And they come up with all these stupid reasons that they're not selling the house, which is really wrong, because if they had the right reason why, the house would sell for top dollar. The real reason why is because they have trouble. They're not taught to negotiate. Mm-hmm. So the realtor's not negotiating properly, right? Yep. Which brings me to number 5. Having the discipline of getting the paperwork done and drafted and completed without second guessing yourself on whether you did a good deal or not. By this point, you're certain, you're excited, you got to do the paperwork. And if you did a good job with testing the market for buyers, you should have a list of potential buyers to go first. So the transaction could be real quick and money in your pocket. So what I'm telling you is, if you just get going, because real estate is not made to learn, it's made to do. And all these contracts have all these weasel clauses in them, and that's a bad word to use, but all these weasel clauses that you go back out of them. It's done that way for that reason. It's because real estate is not made to learn, it's made to do. You will learn by experience, right? The hardest thing for me to teach anyone about making money now is getting people to realize they are doing what they're doing in life to put money in their pocket is not working. If you don't have enough money, it's because what you're doing isn't working. Because if it was, why are you looking to make more money?
Hard to argue that.
Or other solutions that bring you to this podcast, to podcasts like this one. Why are you reading books? Why are you trying to do this? So your retirement program is bad? Okay. You're worried about retiring and have enough money? Your mom and dad are sick and you need to take care of them, so you need time off, but you can't because you need money?
Mm.
You know, your kids are young and you want to stay home with them. Your wife, you want to keep your wife from working, and you want to work your job, and you want to stop her from working her job so she can stay home with your kids. I mean, pick one, any one of them. You want to go on a really nice vacation and can't afford it. You want to buy a new car because your car's clanking and making noises. You want to move. You want to buy a house for yourself so your kids and your wife could be, or your husband or whoever, your spouse could be in a different location. All these are reasons. They're excuses. They're symptoms of the disease. The disease is your habits and what you're doing are incorrect. And what you need to do is you need to take a look at these 5 reasons that we just talked about today, and your disciplines and your habits have to change. You have to figure out win, lose, or draw how to make offers. End of story. So if you don't have offers to make, you need to go back to okay, where are the leads? How do I get people to talk to? And you figure that out. And once you get that figured out, then you start making offers. Every single phone call that takes your time, every single person that you talk to should have 1 or 2 reasons to talk to them. Only 2 reasons to talk to them. 1, because you want to learn, because that's how you're going to learn, is talking to sellers. Or 2, you want to make a proposal so you got a chance to buy in a house. And you should do both of them in today's economy, right?
You can't learn. You can't lose by doing that. You can lose if you don't.
Right. All right. You know the old saying, which is what you said earlier. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So why are you being insane? All right. So real quick, the good news, and this is not a sales pitch. That's why I waited till the end of the show. This is not a sales pitch. It's just information, and you do with it as you please. My new software, which I have 3 other partners with, it's not just mine, it's called Creative REI Reply. You can type in creativereireply.com. There's a webpage, right? Does all this for you lickety split. There is no other software like it on the market. None. We give you leads. When the leads come in, we hook them to a campaign and automatically text them for you. And pretty soon we'll be doing more than texting. We'll be doing mailing and all these other things we're talking about, except dropping the business cards at Home Depot.
No, that's too much. You got to do that yourself. That's the fun part.
That's fun, right?
You make that sound fun.
It is fun. We're going to be doing, when you come back, we're going to be doing that. So,
oh, yeah.
So we put leads into your account every single day. Once you get the leads in your account, we hook them to the right campaign and say the right things to the right people, because each person, each type of seller is a different way to talk to them. So we do all this automatically. Then once they respond to you, we give you scripts. So you know the perfect scripts that are very well used. Mm-hmm. And we do a support call every Thursday night. So my users, I go face to face with my users every Thursday night, plus support tickets every day. Right. So I know that this stuff works because I hear the success stories, right? Mm-hmm. I hear them every single week about somebody that just cashed a $30,000 check, somebody that cashed a $20,000 check, a $5,000 check. I hear them weekly, right? Then once you start talking to the seller, we give you a calculator. You put 5 or 6 numbers into the calculator, and it spits out the offers as if I made them for you. All of my deals are in there, and we light up the deals red, no good, yellow, that means you can change it into a deal, and green means go, baby, go. Right? So once you're talking to the seller, you use our script, you get the 5 or 6 numbers, you put them into the calculator. While you're on the phone, it's simple, Simon. It tells you what deals to do. Then once you click on the deal, you open the deal up, and inside the deal is a checklist of things you need to cover with that person, so you know that you've covered everything correctly. So when you go to contract, there's no surprises.
Yeah.
Then we give you the perfect documents for each deal to type. So this is being released this week.
Oh.
All the deals. You want to do a subject to deal? All the documents are in there now, and we have videos on how to fill them out. But we've paid someone that has coded for us. Nobody else has this. You want to do a subject to deal, you push the subject to deal button at the calculator, and it generates all the subject to documents based on the numbers you put inside the calculator and everything you agreed upon. It spits out the subject to documents. So you download them, and they're already pre-populated and filled out for you the right way. So you don't have to even worry about building the documents anymore. We do it for you. We give you the documents, which is worth a fortune. We give you the documents and we pre-populate them and give them as a download. And pretty soon we'll have it so you can just send them to the seller and have them sign them. We're working on that next.
That's nuts, Bill. That's absolutely nuts.
And then when you close the deal, because you're going to be closing deals, we have a whole system in there on how you automatically, you put the selling process on automation and you automatically sell the house. And it could be a vacant house or a non-vacant house. We have two different ways you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I only say this because the way I'm talking to you today was all the manual ways. And some people will want to do that. Right. But some people will want to spend a couple bucks, and there's no more excuses. I'm done. I've heard too many. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. I've listened to it for too many years.
Yeah.
Decades, at least a decade or more. 12, 13 years I've been listening to how do you do this and how do you do that? And I've explained it to way too many people. Some get it, some don't.
Mm.
So what we've done is we've created a push button software, which is almost impossible to believe, in creativeaireplay.com. So if you want to fill your pockets, your mattresses, bank accounts, or retirement accounts, the final question for today's podcast is, are you ready to make some changes as soon as possible to get out of the making not enough money rut?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's what I've done in today's chat.
Oh.
And every day I put a link in there. I mean, every podcast I put a link in there.
Uh-huh.
What I've done is I put a free link inside the description. I say chat all the time. I don't know why I do that. Inside the description, and it's a webinar class. It's a creative real estate advanced webinar class on how we do all this.
Wow.
I show it to you. There's way too much information there. It's definitely worth a few $1,000s. So if you go into the description and click on the link, it will bring you to the video. It's a Zoom call. That's a few hours actually, and you could watch it as much as you want. So with that said, we're going to end off. Thank you for being with us today. Make sure you subscribe to our channel wherever you're watching us or listening to us. Make sure you like us. Make sure you leave us a review. And if you have any questions, you can go to WhatsApp Messenger, type in Let's Talk Real Estate, or you can go to flippinghousesforrookies.com and hit the support button on the top right-hand side. Okay? So we're over now. Hopefully I encouraged you to start making money in real estate today. All right? So send me a support ticket if you did a deal or if you're working on a deal or if anything that you heard today worked for you and you wanted to brag about it, send me a support ticket and I'll announce it on the podcast. Okay? Over and out, guys. Have a good week. Thanks for listening.